This is Luke 21 and 34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the earth. Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. I like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Haloim La Yahawah, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bachakodash. Double homage to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone and the like-minded brothers. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that's scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shawab and Mawan back at you with another lesson. Going into the title, all right, the hour of temptation is upon us. Are you ready for it? All right, and I'm going to read Luke 21 and 34 again. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. All right. And this snare, all right, which is the MOTB, the RFID, all right, is about to come upon the whole entire world as a snare. Okay, that's the snare that the Lord is about to test everybody in the hour of temptation with, you see. And what I'm about to play, all right, is from YouTube. Going into 2 weeks ago, these devils, all right, basically you see the title on the top left hand corner. All right, it says DT, all right, your president, tech leaders on advancing 6G, exporting AI technology, strengthening the U.S. economy. Okay, and this is what they're about to bring out, man, and made mandatory. All right, all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, which is all prophecy. All right, and this is what the true prophets have been speaking about. All right, over and over and over again, the spirit of prophecy. All right, because that's what you're supposed to be in. All right, the spirit of prophecy and warning the people of what's to come. Okay, so they know that a true prophet was among them when the time comes. You see, ain't no more time to play around with this word. There's no more time to play around with you niggas that don't want to learn. All right, this thing is about to be made mandatory, and this thing is about to come out. All right, and it's going to be a snare onto those that didn't want to hearken on to the word of the Lord, you see. But to those that believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, we're prepared for these things, man. All right, and all we can do is just continually watch and pray always, you know, that the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai may find us worthy to escape these things. Okay, so let me play this video and then I grab some scriptures.
Absolutely. As everyone in this room probably knows very well, leadership in science and technology has been foundational to our economic and national security for decades. And because of the policies that you have championed and private sector partnerships that you've made, America currently is leading the world in S&T, is benefiting all Americans every day. The one thing that I want to remind this group of, and many of you know, the president has been arguing for American leadership in AI well before ChatGPT was even invented. The president signed an executive order on artificial intelligence leadership in 2019, which set the stage for the revolution that we're seeing today. In the past year, we built on that. We signed out the AI action plan in July of this year, which the president launched here in Washington, along with 3 EOs. And a lot of that effort is around creating a regulatory environment to allow companies like yours to thrive, for the applications that you build to have the biggest impact on Americans every day. So thank you for everything that you do, and I know we're going to keep working together to make sure that America is a home for the next great technological discoveries. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, see, that right there is them trying to strengthen up the U.S. economy. All right, they want to know if America's prepared for the new technological discoveries, you see. And this is talking about this RFID. All right, watch. She's going to mention semiconductors, all right, which semiconductors is one of the key ingredients into the RFID, all right, which let me see if I ask Chat GPT, all right, is semiconductors one of the key ingredients in an RFID chip? Let me just see what it says. It says, yes, semiconductors are a core ingredient of an RFID chip. Here is how it breaks down in clear terms what an RFID chip is made of. An RFID, right, is essentially a tiny computer, and like all modern electronics, it's built on semiconductor material, right? Key components include semiconductor substrate, usually silicone. This is the foundation of the integrated circuit. Silicone is a semiconductor, meaning it can control the flow of electricity, all right? And see, that's how it's going to be able to connect to you, you see, because we have what you call neurotransmitters, all right? Our body is like a Wi-Fi. Our body pushes out about 100 hertz, all right? So we create our own electricity, all right? But see, these things are not strong enough. Our body's not strong enough. So that's why they want to connect you to biometrics. Okay, that's why they want to put that NT technology into your body, that nano. Okay, that's why they want to put that geo into your body, which is going into that graph to the phene, to the oxide. Okay, all that goes hand in hand of them trying to put it in our body to make our bodies pump even more hertz, you know, to connect us to their system. Right? It says transistors made with silicone. These act as switches and memory elements, you see, and the transistors are what connects to your neurotransmitters. Okay, your neurotransmitters is what sends the data to your brain, you see. So it's going to be able to connect, all right, with the switches and the memory elements of their transistors, you see. It says millions of them can exist on a CHIP smaller than a grain of rice. Okay, and that's what that RFID is going to be the size of, a grain of rice. It says metal interconnects. It says tiny layers of copper or aluminum, they connect the transistors together. Antenna separate from the C-hip, usually copper, aluminum, and silver ink, not a semiconductor. It's just a metal to transmit, receive radio waves. Yeah, because these are the different ingredients that are into an RFID. Okay, so you know the antenna you see, it goes into having semiconductors. It goes into a pharmaceutical thing also as a key ingredient. Okay, and you have antennas. All right, that also go into it as an ingredient. All right, and then it says active or passive RFID, which I've done, you know, videos on this in the past. You know, active going into those that, you know, don't need, passive going into those that don't need battery, you know, and active, it has a battery, you see. But at one point, all right, it's going to be where it's going to be a passive thing, all right, because they're going to use our bodies as a battery, all right. It says passive goes into, no battery. C-hip is powered by the reader's radio waves, still uses semiconductor circuitry. Okay. Active has a battery, uses more complex semiconductor electronics. What semiconductors are not? Okay. Not nanobots, not graphene, all right, like I just said, not biological or living material. All right, which that's all lie. That's all nonsense. All right. Remember, even though we go into this chat GBT, right? They find ways to try to bring out information in a certain way. Okay. Because they can't give you all the information, because then you're going to be able to put it together. All right. But it definitely has something to do with each other. All right. Because if it wasn't, why would they want to get this into our body so bad? You see, it says, they are simply solid state electronics, similar in principle to what's inside credit cards, smartphones, computers, car key fobs. Bottom line, yes, semiconductors, mainly silicon, are essential to the RFID. Without semiconductors, RFID C-hips would not function. All right. The antenna is metal, but the brain is semiconductor based. You see? So the brain, see, this is why all these things go hand in hand, man, because we already almost have these ingredients in our body. Okay. Just in, it's in a different manner. See, but their technology, remember, they're trying to merge man with technology, transhumanism. So they have to make their technology similar to our body to make it even connect. Okay. And they've been doing this. Remember, the scriptures say that this devil makes a diligent search. Okay. So he's been making a diligent search for quite some time on Jakes, on people, on humans, starting first with animals. He's already put the RFID in animals. He knows that it can work on humans because he looks at us like animals. You see, they use a lot of monkeys, for test runs because a monkey is the most similar thing to a human. Okay, so they know exactly what they're doing, man. All right. It says, if you would like, I can also explain how small RFID C-hips get, how far they can transmit, and why they can't track people without readers. Let me see what that says real quick. Let's see what comes up with that. Wow, that ain't saying, boy. I put yes, and it doesn't even want to acknowledge my shit. It don't want to give me further information. That's cool though. As a matter of fact, let me see something real quick. Let me try to copy this and paste it. Yeah, that's just crazy as hell. It really don't. Look at this shit. Look, I'm trying to press yes to it, but look, it doesn't even work. It won't even let me go to the next one. All right, but cool. Hold on, let me back out of that. Let me punch that into the chat, and then I'll play some more of the video. There you go. All right, there you go. The water YAHAWAH'S. It said, yes, go ahead and explain, and to be helpful right away, here's a clear, grounded overview of all 3 points you mentioned, since they're closely related. How small RFID C-hips actually are. All right, we know that, the size of a grain of rice. Okay, and they could go smaller than that at the end of the day if they want. All right. How far RFID can transmit depends on the type. Passive RFID, no battery, range a few centimeters to a few feet, must be powered by nearby readers, electronic magnetic field. All right. Active has a battery, range tens to hundreds of feet, used for cargo tracking vehicles, warehouses, not people. Then it says, crucially, no battery, no long-range signal. Why RFID cannot track people on its own. All right. RFID C-hips do not have GPS. That's a lie. All right. Do not broadcast constantly. Do nothing at all unless a reader is very close. See, at the end of the day, the reader is going to be us. Okay. So if it has the reader, then it's able to do these things, which is going to be able to, have us as a GPS. All right. Remember, this is why they're about to speak about it. This is why the 6G is about to be brought out even more, because they need that to be able to read you see, with this thing on you. Okay. Don't tell me that shit just threw me off. Oh man, yo, that ain't Satan, boy. Let me go back into that real quick. That is straight Satan right there. Right? So let me keep reading while I'm bringing this back up. Oh, perfect. All right. So it says, for tracking to occur, you need dense networks of readers everywhere, power sources, data infrastructures tied to identities. Exactly. So the data infrastructure tied to identities is going to be the biometrics. This is why they're going to bring and present basically what? They're going to present this this digital ID to you, okay, to connect you to the system, okay, and then eventually it's going to be made mandatory, all right, because the networks of readers are going to be everywhere, the power sources, which is going to be the 6G. You see, the 6G is going to be so strong, man. It's already with 5G being around is strong enough, all right, but see, they're going to have to get even stronger to be able to track you worldwide and track you every single place that you go, you know, from a far distance, okay. It says that's why governments and corporations use smartphones, not RFID, for real-time tracking. Phones already have batteries, GPS, cellular radios, internet connection. And what do you have Killer Gates talking about, man? That he want to get rid of the cell phone. Why? Because you yourself is going to be the cell phone. You yourself is going to be the computer now. You see how much the body, how much power the body has to be able to act the same way as these cell phones and these computers, okay? It says, bottom line, RFID is a short-range ID technology, not a tracking system, all right, which that's a lie. It's definitely a tracking system. It's created to track us and track our every move and being able, hey, we're not even going to be able to buy and sell unless we have that thing in that technology in us, okay? So it's already made to track your every move. It's designed to answer one question only when scanned. What are you? Where are you? I want you. I can also, if you want, it says, if you want, I can also compare RFID versus GPS versus Bluetooth. Explain the, woo, look at that. It said, if you want, I can also compare RFID versus GPS versus Bluetooth. Explain that MOTB concerns people associate with RFID. Break down common myths and documented uses. Just tell me which direction you want to go. Let's put all of them. All right. As a matter of fact, all of them. Got it. I'll cover all of them clearly and carefully without hype or dismissal. I'll separate what the technology actually does, all right, from why people associate it with control, prophecy, or fear, so you can judge for yourself. RFID versus GPS versus Bluetooth, what each one really does. Radio, RFID purpose, identification when scanned. Power, usually no battery. All right. Inches to feet. We already read through all that, right? Let's get to GPS. Purpose, location tracking, right? Global satellites is the range. All right. Smartphones, vehicles, ankle monitors. All right. Bluetooth, it says short range communication or proximity tracking. Okay. All right, let's forget about that. Let's all go down to, let's see what it says about this this MOTB. Why RFID gets connected to the MOTB. It says this concern isn't random. It comes from real biblical themes, but technology often gets misidentified. Revelations 3:16, right? And 7 says, you already know what it says. It says, key point, many miss. The MARK is tied to worship, allegiance, obedience, authority. All right, and that's a fact. That's exactly what it's tied to at the end of the day. All right, because let's grab this real quick. All right, you know what? I don't even want to go to that because then if I go to it, this shit gonna kick me off. Right? I'll get it in 1 second. It says in scripture, Yahweh's law is placed in the hand, or Yahweh's law is placed in the hand and forehead, which that's bugged right there, what they said. The M-A-R-K contracts with Yahweh's seal. Okay, the M-A-R-K represents who you serve, not just what you carry, which at the end of the day, see, we're here to take Yahweh's mark, all right, which is the Tawah, all right, you to be exempt from judgment, okay, for you to be protected in the time of the MOTB, the hour of temptation, all right. But if you don't believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and you're against and contrary to the Lord, right, and you believe in this system saving you, that saves you, all right, and you believe in the shadow of Egypt, which is going to be a confusion, you're going to end up taking the M-A-R-K that Esau has to offer, you see, showing that you are Esau's property, okay, that's your power, your God, okay. It says technology may enable control, but it's not the M-A-R-K itself. What a lie. All right. Could technology be used for buying and selling control? Yes, but not RFID alone. Real world systems already in use. Digital IDs, central banking, digital currencies, social credit systems, app-based access control. And is this not what they have all over the world right now? You see, little by little, they're bringing all these different type of infrastructures. See, why? Because it's going to all connect to being able to control the buying and selling, going back to Revelation 13 chapter. You see, man, you can't make this up. Prophecy is speaking like a mother right now, man. Okay. It says all these require consent or compliance, okay? And it's going to be forced upon you at the end of the day, whether you whether you deny the compliance or not. All right. See, this is why we're going to need Yahweh Shai to intervene. This is why we're going to need prayer, all right, to get us away from the hour of temptation. It says are enforced by policy and power. You see, the danger is corrosion, not circuitry. Salakia. It says why fear often focuses on the wrong tech. All right. Historically, people feared barcodes, credit cards, social security numbers, C-hips, yo jabba jabbas. Yet the actual control mechanisms are always turned out to be laws, economic pressure, surveillance through everyday tools, phones, and accounts. Yeah, and the surveillance is going to come by the new way of this new tool in this new world order, okay? Because all this shit is all old world order, man. This is old history. You see, we live in a fourth industrial revolution of things, which is the internet of things. So this is a new thing, right? It says your smartphone is already a GPS tracker, microphone, camera, biometric ID, payment device. Okay, and that's what they were gradually preparing you with. It started with your phone. You see, they brought phones to make you think it's normal, to eventually taking away the phone. All right, and you're still gonna think it's normal because when they come and tell you that there's no more phones, but you could do everything a phone did through you, it's gonna fall in convenience to you. You see, now you're gonna be like, oh shit, that shit is dope. Technology is it has taken it another step further. Okay. It says bottom line, clear and honest. It says RFID is real, but limited. It's not a tracking system by itself. It cannot control minds or bodies. And this is all a lie. All right. It's able to control your mind. It's able to, if they can hack into a computer and they want to make you a computer, that means that they can hack into you and hack into your thoughts, which that's what this devil wants to do. Ultimately, he wants to tap into your thoughts. Okay. As a matter of fact, do I got a Bible on me right now? Yeah, I do got one on me. I'll do this instead of going into my phone and getting away from this page. Right? We take 2 Thessalonians. right? 2 and 4, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. All right. And we are the temple of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, as the scriptures say, know ye not that we are the temple of the Most High. Okay. So how is he going to be able to sit in the temple of the Lord? All right. By putting this technology into your body. All right. Subdermally. All right. Putting it into your body or into your forehead, which is your mind. All right. And being able to tap into your thoughts. Okay. And by you. All right. And by you taking this device, damn, they cannot be playing with me right now. Yo, these devils is different right now. Fucking, my TV never does this shit. Right? And by you taking this, you're showing that you're worshiping, all right, Esau Edom, man. That's your power. Okay? Give me a second. All right, so you're showing that you're worshiping Esau Edom, all right, which that is going to be your God if you lean on Egypt, man, which Egypt is spiritually as is America, which we are known as spiritually Sodom and Egypt, as the scriptures say. So if you put your trust in the shadow of Egypt, it's going to be your confusion, all right, it's going to be to your death, all right, because you're supposed to not put your trust in man, but put your trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay. Let me see what the rest of this says, and then I'll play this video. It says, it cannot control minds or bodies. It does not fulfill revelation on its own. The real issue scripture warns about is who has authority over commerce and conscience. All right. Who's the one that has the authority over that? Obviously, it's Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But see, you got Esau trying to play God. He trying to play that role. So he wants to be the one that technology is a tool. The MARK is about allegiance. Okay, yeah, because they want you to pledge to what's the flag say when you're in school? I pledge of allegiance to the flag, right? Well, they want you to pledge allegiance to them, to the system, to the image. Okay, to this devil that's all in a Luciferian satanic ritual. Okay, which he wants to merge, you know, a one world order. Okay, a one world God. You see, which is this digital Messiah. It says, if you want next, I can walk through Revelation 13 verse by verse. Now I'm good. Compare ancient Roman economic control to modern systems. All right. Explain. But let's go into that. Compare ancient Rome economic. Because that just shows that we are connected. All right. That this is still spiritually Rome, as the scriptures say. All right. The revival of the ancient Roman Empire. Okay. It says, let's do that carefully and historically. Ancient Rome's economic control versus modern systems, where they truly overlap and where they don't. Ancient Rome's economic control, how it actually worked. Rome did not control people primarily through technology. It controlled them through law, loyalty, and survival economics. Money and taxation. Rome minted its own currency. All right. Taxes were mandatory and enforced by law. All right. And well, that's what's happening with this right now, though. You see, everything is being mandated by the laws that they're pushing, by the draconian laws. Right. We have currency, right? And currency is controlled. All right. But to the point where now they're bringing this new world order. So the old world currency, all right, it's not going to be usable no more. They're going to bring in a new currency, which is by the way of these central banking systems. Okay, going into these, you know, into the digital dollar. All right. It says tax collectors, all right, were backed by military power. Okay. And this devil has hella military power now. Okay. Inflation was used deliberately, coined debasement. Control came from access to money and legal standing, not tracking. It says B, trade guilds and licenses. Many professions require state approval. Guilds controlled who could work, who could sell, at what price. You see? Same spirit back in a different type of era, in a different type of manner. All right, because they're trying to be in the same controlled environment of who can work, who can sell. See, that's why it says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive the MARK, right? In their right hand or their forehead, and that they might not buy or sell. You see? So that's already showing you control. Okay? And this devil's taking on the image of that beast, right? That was wounded by the sword, right? As it said. But then it came back. Okay, and it was healed, meaning what? The revival of the ancient Roman Empire. Okay, because they were taken down for a certain amount of time. All right, but then they came back into power. You see, it says refusal to participate could mean economic exclusion. Same thing you're gonna hear today. You see. If you don't take and comply with this devil's fucking beast system in this image, well, then you're going to be excluded from society. Is that not what Klaus Schwab was saying? Is that not what Bill Gates was saying? Okay. Make it make sense, man. If you were in compliant, you couldn't buy or sell in the city. You see? So this was going on in ancient Rome. They're trying to do the same thing today. Okay? If you do not comply with this devil's system, then you're not going to be able to buy or sell, man. Okay? Unless you have this MARK. And if you don't take the MARK, well, then you're going to be excluded from society. Ultimately, unalive, they're going to be trying to look for you to do. Right? It says grain dole. It says C, grain dole, right? Rome distributed free or subsidized grain to citizens. And that's spiritual, because it's going to be a grain, it's going to be the size of a grain of rice, right? Over time, this became a survival necessity. Eligibility depended on citizenship, registration, loyalty, food access, obedience, leverage. Okay? And this is why this devil's going to play with your food source, okay? Because it's going to be his leverage to gain your obedience, okay? By him being able to, put you in a predicament for you to bow down to his system. See, that's why these niggas said that the next pandemic, right? They're not gonna have to make you beg. You're gonna come begging to them, because they're gonna take away the things that you need the most, your necessities. You see, that's how they're gonna put you into that in the predicament. And once you take away the food source and the water, all right, and people don't got that, man, they'll pretty much do anything for that. You see, this is why you're gonna need YAHAWAH'S, man, to put your trust in all your trust in YAHAWAH'S, because we're not gonna be able to have food coming in the way we want. We ain't gonna be able to drink water the way we want, the way we want, right? But what did the Lord say, man? Okay, let's grab this. This is real quick, Matthew. All right, 4. Salakia. This is Matthew 4 and I'll take it from 3. And when the tempter came to him after YAHAWAH'S fasted 40 days and 40 nights, right? He was hungry, right? And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be son of man, command that these stones, right? Let me just move this around before. It says, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh. You see? So we're not going to take no thought of what we're going to need in these days, because we have the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, which is going to feed us. You see? That's your bread and your butter, man. That's your water. All right? Your rivers of living water that you're going to drink on. Your Yahweh Shai is the bread of life. That's what we're going to constantly eat on, you know, metaphorically. See, that's why the Lord said, eat this roll, man, because knowledge and wisdom is going to be the stability of thy times, man. So you're going to be able to survive, all right, without actually physically eating your bread and your having your bread and your water, right? Because you're going to have the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Says, then the devil taketh him up in the holy city and setteth him on the pinnacle of the temple and saith unto him, if thou be the son of Yahweh, cast thyself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against thy stone. Okay? Spiritual power of protection, basically, right? Yahweh Shai said unto him, it is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Lord Yahweh thy power. Again, the devil, and this is what this devil's about to do. Again, the devil taketh them up into an exceeding high mountain and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and saith unto him, all these things will I give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me. You see? And because most of these people, all right, 2/3 of our people don't want to hearken on to this word. See, they're gonna go to their oppressor for the want of all things, man. You see, and nakedness and shame. You see, we're not gonna need that because we have Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, life and death is in the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Unto him belong the issues of death. So if you believe, the Lord gonna keep you alive, man. Even if it means that you don't eat 3, 4, 5 days, man, 6 days, okay? Because the Lord is what controls death and life, not this devil, right? So it says, then saith Yahweh Shai unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord Yahweh Shai, thy power, and him only shalt thou serve. You see? So we're here to serve Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. That's why you need that M-A-R-K of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, that the Wah, to be exempt from judgment. You see? But by you taking the M-A-R-K of Esau, see, judgment is going to come upon you. Missiles is going to fly. You see? And you're going to be a partaker of that. Okay? So continuing on real quick, it says, D, emperor worship or commerce. Right? In many provinces, trade required participation in emperor cult rituals, burning incense, public acknowledgement of Caesars as Lord. Okay? Christians who refused, all right, which the true Christians are us, right? We the true believers of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, were barred, all right, from guilds, lost the right to trade, were labeled subversive. You see? This is directly relevant to Revelation's buying and selling language. Okay? The book of Revelations 2, the book of Revelation's Rome backdrop. Revelations was written under Roman rule, likely during the mention, right? When Revelation says that no man might buy or sell save he that had the M-A-R-K, first century readers would immediately think of guild certificates, civic tokens, proof of participation in emperor worship. You see? So it's the same thing. All right. In this society, you're gonna have to have some type of proof, some type of certification that you are a participant of the emperor's worship. And how they gonna do that? By the way of this RFID, by stamping that into your brain in your right hand. You see? Because that shows as a badge. When you go into that word charagma, all right, when you go into M-A-R-K, it goes into what? It goes into charagma, which means a badge of servitude. You see? it shows that you are down with this society. Okay. Then it says the MARK made sense without micro C-hips. Okay. Modern economic control, how it works today. Modern systems replace physical force with digital dependence. Okay. And this is what they're doing with the convenience of these digital IDs, of this digital world, this fourth industrial revolution, right? A digital money, bank accounts can be frozen, cash use is shrinking, transactions are monitored algorithmically. It says no soldiers needed. Compliance is enforced electronically. Okay. And see, this is why they want you connected to the system with UBI. All right. With the social credit score. See, all these things go hand in hand, so they can everything could be enforced electronically. Everything could be controlled and electronically, to the point where they're able to control you electronically. Again, going back into, they can hack into your computer, where they're going to be able to hack into you and control you. You see? B, digital ID. IDs tied to biometrics, credit scores, behavior metrics. Loss of ID, loss of access. Similar to Roman citizenship papers, but far more precise. C, corporate state partnership. Rome, state plus guilds. Today, states plus banks plus tech platforms. The mechanism is the same. The scale is different. Man, this shit is heavy right here. Let me screenshot a couple of these, man. Just to keep. All right. Let me move this around. Give me 1 second. I want to screenshot these for my own keep. You use these over and over again, man. It don't matter if we repeat ourselves 1,000 times, man. Listen, the worst thing this devil did was make this internet. I'll tell you that, because his own technology is falling upon him, man. You see? All right. So going back, right? It says D, social and ideological compliance. Rome required public acts of loyalty, incense to Caesar. Modern systems may require policy compliance, digital agreement, behavioral adherence. Right? It says not worship in temples, but submission to authority. Okay? And that's what it's going to technically come down to, being submit. They want you to submit to their authority. See, we're supposed to submit to the authority of Yahawah B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? But this devil wants to play the role of God, so he wants you to submit to his authority. You see? It says key similarities. This is the important part. Rome versus the modern systems, right? It says Rome, citizenship papers. Modern systems, digital ID. Rome, grain dull. Modern systems, welfare subsidies. It says Rome, guild approval. Modern systems, platform access. Rome, emperor loyalty. Modern systems, policy, ideology, compliance. Rome, economic exclusion. Modern systems, account freezing. In both systems, control comes through commerce, not force alone. Okay? 5, key differences, also important. Rome, localized, slow enforcement, physical presence required. Today, global, instant enforcement, invisible and automated. This makes modern systems far more powerful, even without implants. Okay. 6, what Revelation warns about in context. Revelation does not warn about technology itself, all right, which it actually does. It warns about centralized authority, forced allegiance, economic corrosion, loss of conscience. Technology simply amplifies what empires already do. All right. It says bottom line, 7, Rome controlled buying and selling through law, loyalty, economic pressure. Modern systems do the same through digital access, financial infrastructure, identity systems. Different tools, same principle. See, this is how you know that we are still tied spiritually to Rome, man. Okay? And that Rome is still in power through that through the revival of the ancient Roman Empire. All right. And they have the same thing. They bring out the same laws, the same ways they were doing it in ancient Rome, but just a newer era, doing it more with technology. All right. It says, if you want, next I can compare Rome to China's social credit system, explain hand and forehead in Hebrew thoughts. Look at that. Break down why Revelation uses symbols instead of specifics. Compare Babylon and Revelation to modern empires. All right. Which, you know, we know that China. All right. We always say, if you want to know what's going to happen next, just look at what China's going through, because China, as it tells you in Second Ezra, the 15th chapter, all right, that China is always been like Babylon the Great. They have always desired to be just like America. So they're always in a race with each other, you know, and China's more advanced. Okay. So they've always, let's just grab that real quick. I'll just bring it out. All right. Take me 2 seconds. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'll just get to the main point. All right. This is 15 and this is 15 and 46. And thou, Asia, thou art partakers of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person. Woe, right? It says, woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and in inventions. Therefore saith YAHAWAH'S. You see? So they always have wanted to be just like America. All right. And that goes into, you know, Babylon the Great, making all these different nations drink the wine and philosophies that they carry. You see? So let's see. It says explain hand and forehead. Let me see what that says. Explain hand and forehead in the Hebrew. Interesting. Right? It says response 1. I just want to see what it said. Revelations did not invent this language. It comes directly from the Torah. Give me 1 second. Just bear with me. I'm just reading to see if there's anything worth bringing out, which they're just bringing out a bunch of extra shit. All right. It says what the hand represents biblically, meaning in Hebrew thought, the hand symbolizes actions, work, deeds, what you do and produce, right? Produce. Examples, the work of your hand, strength of the hand, deliverance by mighty hand. Hand equals behavior and obedience in action. What the forehead represents between the eyes, all right, which, hey, the scriptures talk about that. Forehead between the eyes going into the word meta. That's how you get metapon, all right? Between the eyes, and then that word metapon goes into meta. See, and then they want you to be connected to the metaverse, okay? The forehead symbolizes mind, will, thoughts, beliefs, decision-making. Set your face like flint, a stiff-necked people resisting instruction. Forehead equals belief, allegiance, world view. Okay. Let's see what else is here. Yeah, they're just going all. Yeah, they got too much shit in here. All right, that's cool though. All right, so let's get into this video. So you get the point, man. What was being brought out? All right, comparing it to ancient Rome, showing you that we are still that we are the revival, that America's the revival of ancient Rome, because they're still trying to do the same things that they were doing in ancient Rome, but through a different manner. All right, in a different era, through their technologies today. Okay, see, they didn't have this technology back in those days. All right, but they had that, like we read, you know, same concepts were being done, just in a different manner. Okay, so let's play this real quick. What the fuck? And this is going to be about 8 minutes. Yeah, it's 8 minutes. So, you know, I'll play just this whole thing, and then I'll pretty much close it out with one or two scriptures, because you're going to get the point. All right, when he's saying all these things, it's going to go hand in hand in what we was just going into.
As everyone in this room probably knows very well, leadership in science and technology has been foundational to our economic and national security for decades. And because of the policies that you have championed and private sector partnerships that you've made, America currently is leading the world in S&T, is benefiting all Americans every day. The one thing that I want to remind this group of, and many of you know, the president has been arguing for American leadership in AI well before ChatGPT was even invented. The president signed an executive order on artificial intelligence leadership in 2019, which set the stage for the revolution that we're seeing today. In the past year, we built on that. We signed out the AI action plan in July of this year, which the president launched here in Washington, along with 3 DOs. And a lot of that effort is around creating a regulatory environment to allow companies like yours to thrive, for the applications that you build to have the biggest impact on Americans every day. So thank you for everything that you do, and I know we're going to keep working together to make sure America is at home for the next great technological discoveries.
Thank you, Michael. And Michael? Thank you, sir. Well, look, we greatly appreciate the focus the administration has on lowering energy costs. And energy is the substrate of manufacturing at the industrial level, and really an incredibly important input to the economy. We can't be competitive without super low cost energy industry. And had a great meeting earlier today with Secretary Wright, and really appreciate all the work that he's been doing. This is, of course, incredibly important when it comes to AI, because it does consume a great deal of power. All the semiconductor manufacturing consumes a great deal of power.
See, there he goes. He was talking about the semiconductors, you see? So this is how we know they're talking all about this RFID.
The area of focus for us is how we can take all this great AI technology, the AI stack of the innovative companies here in the United States, and sell that around the world. And I'd like to ask Armin to speak a little bit more about this. Armin?
Thank you. So, Mr. President, first, I would like to thank you for everything you're doing for economic growth, as you said. I completely agree with you. Economic growth then drives a lot of other benefits to everything else. We also want to thank you for all the work you're doing on deregulation and making things easier for business to participate in that growth. I just spoke of the AI stack. It's incredibly important that under the action plans that we have laid out and Michael Pastors just spoke of, we really help promote the AI stack, which is not semiconductors only. Those are incredibly important. But it's semiconductors, it's software, it's the systems which many of us here build, and it is the software applications on top. The ability to take those to all our friends in countries, so all the friendly countries, is going to be very, very important. And we wish to work with your government to make sure that we can do that.
See, this is how it said. See, he said all these friendly countries. See, this is how they're going to heap all together, as the scriptures say. Let me just read that real quick, right? This is Habakkuk. All right, 2, and I'll take it from 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. All right. So the Lord has an appointed time for it. And right now it is speaking through the Spirit, through us, the prophets, and through what these devils' plans are with all these different interviews and shit that they're bringing out. And not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come. It will not tarry. So it seems like it's taking long, but hey, it's a process to it. See, but we're getting quicker and quicker to it. Okay. That process has been already in the making for a while now. So now it's just moving faster and faster. All right. Let's drop down to 5. It says, yeah, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. All right. And how's he going to do that? By the way of this RFID, this new world order, this one world government, you see? So he like he said, he's trying to bring all these other nations into it that are friendly. Okay. See, but eventually all these nations are going to turn against America, because America just gets too greedy with everything, man.
Because otherwise they're afraid that competing countries are going to be able to get that stack. So we would say that.
Anything that you're looking at that we can help you with, so that you create a bigger and better IBM and hire a lot more people? Anything you need?
A few countries will speak to members of the administration to make sure that those can go and that barriers get lower to being able to do it quickly. The Greek guardrails are necessary, but lower barriers would be very, very helpful.
You need tariffs?
No.
Because are these countries tariffing you, and making your life difficult? Are they doing anything else to make it easier?
It's the ability to take certain systems which have semiconductors inside them into these countries. So right now, because we have controls on where all the semiconductors can go, the entire system is restricted. That's what we want to do. The same as
How many countries do that?
Probably a half dozen.
What's the secret?
Come on, man. What the fuck?
It's designed to minimize side effects and give me real weight loss. Yes, please. I'm doing it.
And shit ain't even letting me skip.
A little micro. Heck yeah.
Now starting at just $99.
Insurance companies don't care. Claims cost them money and profit. Over the past 40 years,
I apologize, Salakia.
the Harrison firm has secured nearly $1 billion in compensation for injured New Yorkers just like you. Contact us today for a free case review.
Come on. What the fuck?
A dozen. So
I can tell you the countries that I know.
yes.
I know
I
that
know
country.
very well. And
There are ways of combating that quickly. You let me know.
And the last one.
Yeah,
I'd
you
like to
talk
say was
about
also
this.
to
You talk about Israel.
thank you for all that you're doing to help modernize government itself, because we think that that's incredibly important. We know you made a number of announcements, but a couple that I'd just like to point out, we worked with Commissioner Frank Visignano to help make social security better. So I would like to thank you for your help with that. And we worked with him on making our.
He's done a fantastic job.
See, what's crazy is that, see, Donald Trump, all these countries, all these damn places, they look at Donald Trump like he's a god to everything, because he's the one that's in full effect putting all these things into play. Because he's taking the demands from these little hatters that rule the world, these top banker families. Because remember, these niggas is all puppets at the end of the day, man. All right? But see, he's about to get real juicy right here with this guy.
He's done a great job, Frank. He's had a great career. Actually left a tremendous career where his salary, I think, was 100 times greater than it is now. And he was at JP Morgan Chase, and he's doing a fantastic. He did a great job with Social Security quickly.
And we hope to help him replicate that now at our reasons.
Right. Thank you very much. Good job. Cristiano, please,
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you for your vision, and thank you for understanding the importance of the American private sector and industry after the growth of the economy. I want to just build on some of the things that were said by my colleagues. I think we have built probably one of the most advanced technologies in the world, and part of it is because of think the commitment to innovation that we have in the country, but also the fact that it has made American technology for the world. So I think that
it's American technology for the world. See, it's a global thing. All right. As the scriptures say, all right, he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive this MARK. All right. So that means it's a global thing. You see, this is how we know they're speaking about this MOTB.
When I think about what Michael said about exporting AI, I had a conversation with Secretary Howard. Now that the trade deals been made, is an opportunity to really build on those trade deals and export, I think, American technology. And also, as we think about the technology, it's an important factor to drive the reindustrialization, I think, of the country with technology. So it's incredibly excited about that. I think it's a big opportunity. I think it's the next wave of growth that we can build on those trade agreements. And
this is the next wave of growth. You see, the growth of what? The growth of their new world order.
It resonates with also Arvin said about the importance of the American technology stack. And then we're just going to finish with 2 points. There are 2 exciting things happening with where the technology coming right now. One is as AI becomes a new form of computing, AI is going not only to the data center, but to everything, to cars, to PCs. And we see now the ability to run models that you can only run AI in the data center. You can run that on a microcomputer, on the computer, on retail, on a server, a small server on premise. So I think we're going to see the proliferation of AI. The other one is 6G. We have made commitment working with your administration, working with FCC. We're going to accelerate 6G. We're working to launch first in the world in that LA Olympics. And I think that's another opportunity for America to lead in the next world of evolution. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the partnership, and looking to be working for. Okay,
so 6G is about to be presented. There's only a minute left too. Yeah, so 6G is about to be presented. Why? Because they're gonna need that power of the 6G to be able to put this into full effect, man. You see, you got to be able to read between the lines. See, most people see this shit and they're just like, oh man, they're just talking about technology. Nah, see, we see it through the spirit of what's being played, because the knowledge of YAHAWAH'S, man, because the knowledge that the Lord has bestowed upon us, man, to be able to have the eyesight to see these things, man. This shit is right around the corner, man. This is why scripture says it's going to be a snare upon the whole world. They're going to get caught by surprise with their pants down, man. And here it is. They just laughed and scoffed and mocked the prophets all day long when we was just trying to warn you, showing true love. And the Lord was actually showing true compassion on his people by sending out his prophets, man. You see? And they about to get smacked with the okie doke, man.
Into 16 hours. I just told you I was a leader on 5G getting that down, and now they're up to 6. Was that to give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin?
What did you just say? What does it get? A little bit deeper view into someone's skin. That's where it's gonna come down to. Hey, let's look at that real quick. Let's go into the MARK, Revelations. We go through this all the time, over and over again. You know, brothers that is like-minded with the brothers of GMS, we go into this all the time, over and over, in depth. All right, explaining, because they were saying yesterday that brothers nobody goes into it as much as us or like we do. That's nonsense, man. Real brothers that's really into this truth and believe, we go into this on a daily basis, all the time, in depth, for you to understand that it's the MARK, man, that's being presented. Right, so this is Revelations 13 and 16, right? And it says MARK. You go into that word charagma, okay? That word charagma says what? It says a stamped and imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as a badge of the followers of the Antichrist, right? A thing carved, sculpture, graven work of an idolatrous image, okay? And that's that what? All right, that RFID, that's the idolatrous image, that digital messiah. Okay, it says a scratch or etching, example, stamp. All right, so that scratch or etching is going to be what? A scratch of the surface of the skin. Okay, when you go into that word karagma, it goes into karax, which means, it says from karaso, to sharpen to a point, right? Through the idea of scratching on what? The surface of our skin. Okay, it says sharpen to a point, because that's what the karax goes into. It goes into a stake being pushed into your skin. Okay, it says by implication, a palisade or rampart, military mound, or military mound in a siege, a trench. All right, in order for you to create a trench in your skin, that means a trench is like a military. When you go to military, in a military war, right? A trench is something that they jump into, right? That's under the surface of the ground level. You see, so it's this, you got to look at it, metaphorically. Our hands are gonna be like a trench when this thing gets entered into your skin. You see, it's gonna have to sit. The RFID is gonna have to sit in a trench in your skin. You see, it says from karax, it goes into what? It goes into grapho. All right, and real quick, it just goes into things not to be forgotten. Data. All right, to give information, directions. You see, you're gonna be a GPS. You're gonna be able to transfer information from me to them. You see, they're gonna be able to transfer information to you, program you to how they want, to their liking. That's what that whole Genesis mission is about. They're speaking a lot about this Genesis mission because they want to make man in their image. Okay, trying to copy the Lord. The Lord made man in his image. But see, now these devils want to make you in their image according to their society. You see? According to their thoughts. So this thing is playing out just like prophecy says, man. All right?
I like the cameras the old days. So he's just gonna nice feature.
I want to go back a little bit.
It'll be hard to work. Okay, try to get it there.
So we're just issued, I just told you, I was a leader on 5G getting that down. And now
And if you realize what he said, when they were talking about the 6G, he said 6 3 times. You got to know this devil likes to speak on numerology, man. He does a lot of numerology. So he says 6G. He said the number 6 3 times, 666, showing you that he the devil through the spirit.
What is that to give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin?
So, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the partnership, and we're going to be hard at work. Okay, driving that.
It's my bad. I wanted to see the 666 part.
Working with your administration, working with FCC, we're going to accelerate 6G. We're working to
That's 16G.
the award in that LA Olympics. And I think that's another opportunity for America to lead in the next world revolution. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
So they said 16G. He goes to second 6G.
So we're just issued.
There goes 1, 2.
I was a leader on 5G getting that down. And now they're up to 6.
There goes the third 6G.
A little bit deeper view into somebody's skin.
That's spiritual right there. He said it 3 today. The one guy said it once and he said it twice. And then right after that, he comes and says also, well, we're going to get a closer and deeper look into the skin. You see, the scriptures tell you right here. Let's read that real quick. Right? Verse 18 in Revelation 13. It says, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, going into 666. Okay, man, listen, man, this shit is spiritual as hell. All right, and when you go into that word 666, right, it goes into chi, psi, stigma. All right, and that word stigma goes into what? A mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name of the stamp or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belong to. And there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods, man. You cannot make this shit up.
I like the cameras in the old days. So it's just a nice feature. Now they cover every little, let's see, Michael, you're in good shape. But I tell you, it's, see, the 6 is coming, huh? Does it ever end? And what happens?
You know what he say?
You'll be into 7.
He said the 6 is coming. And if you want to get technical with it, Donald Trump himself said the 6 3 times. He said the 6 is coming. And then he said the 7. All right, which that's actually going into witchcraft. 6 7 goes into witchcraft. It goes into a certain god. All right. You even hear it in that stupid ass song 6 7, and you hear all these little kids saying it. But 7 represents completion. So he said 6 3 times, 6 6 6, and then he said the number 7, which is completion. See, this thing is about to be completed through the spirit, man, and it's about to be presented and made mandatory. Wild.
Right, before 6 gets old, it'll be into 7. Anybody have anything else to say? Anybody?
The other thing is, what is saying for the openness of the organization and the we always find people that want to hear what we need and willing to design, program, that will support us. So,
Oh, here it is. We want you to.
Yeah, he talking a bunch of bullshit. Ain't even got to go into that no more. So, hey, that's pretty much the point. There's no need to go into no more scriptures, man. Been here long enough, breaking it down through the spirit, you know. So, hey, Lord willing that you were edified. You know, we at the end of this thing, man. This thing is about to be presented, the hour of temptation. You know, oh, you got to ask yourself, are you ready? You know, are you girded up through the spirit and power of Yahawah Bashim Yahawash? As a matter of fact, I'll leave you with this. All right. I'll leave you with 2 scriptures. This is Revelations 3. Matter of fact, now the spirit jumped on me again. This is a couple of them, right? This is 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, meaning this truth, right? This word that the Lord has given you. I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth, right? Then you got Revelations 14 and 9, and it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. You see? So this is why we constantly tell our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, if you take this, that's it, you're done. The Lord, you're gonna have to feel the Lord's wrath with his angels, right? And you're gonna have to take a missile to the face, man. You see? The Lord gonna destroy you for taking the mark of this devil, showing that that was your God instead of our power. You see, our power is a jealous power, man. Right? And I'll leave you with this and end it. This is Ephesians 6 and 10. And it says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord Yahawashi and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devils. Meaning what? The strategies. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, meaning demons, against powers and against the rulers of darkness of this world, meaning these elites, against spiritual wickedness in high places, the witchcraft and sorceries, man. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahawah Bashim Yahawashi. praying always with all prayer and supplication in the spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. You see? So, hey, man, this is what it's about, praying, all right, and asking the Lord to have mercy upon you, man, and to do the will of the Lord to the best of your ability, to make no provision for the flesh. You see? We have to remember, man, that our adversary, the devil, is seeking whom he may devour, man. Who is a weak link out there, all right? Who can Satan get in the minds of to make them fall and make them, you know, take this MOTB, okay? This is why you got to constantly stay prayed up, man, and ask the Lord for forgiveness and ask the Lord for mercy on a daily basis, man. Because if not, the Lord gonna line us up. It's not your, remember, we don't have free will. The Lord is what directs your steps. Man's goings is of the Lord, so how can a man understand his own way? All right. The Lord will line you up whether you like it or not. A nigga could say, I ain't gonna take that. That's not in my nature, but it ain't your call, man. It's the Lord's call. If the Lord wants to line you up, he gonna line your ass up for this MOTB, man. You see? And this is why you have to pray and you know, ask the Lord to have mercy, that you be worthy to escape all these things, man. So I'm gonna leave it at that through the Spirit. Lord willing, you will edify. So with that being said, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahushai, call Haloyim La Yahawah, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and the like-minded brothers. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, willing that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith, enduring as good soldiers of Yahweh Shai. Unto the next one, Shalom. And Shalom to you and your households. May Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai continue to sup with the true brothers and sisters that are, you know, taking in this truth and sincerity and the truth, man, that are really true believers and know exactly what's going on in these last days. Shalom, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Barakatah.